إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. My brothers and my sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, today we will look at the aql, or the mind. Rabbana subhanahu wa ta'ala, in over 13 ayahs, he ends these ayahs with the question, Afala ta'qilun? Don't you process your thoughts? Don't you think? Don't you internalize? He also said in Surah Yusuf, Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyan la'allakum ta'qilun, that he has sent down this Quran for us that we may internalize it, we may read it, process it, think about it, and act upon it. This is why sometimes in some of these ayahs, and they are in various ayahs of the Quran, you can find them in Surah Al-Baqarah, in Surah Al-Imran, look it up and you will see that previous to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, Afala ta'qilun, he will come with a reminder that reminds us who we are, what we are, and then ends off with saying, Afala ta'qilun, don't you think, don't you reflect upon what you see. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, Alam nakhlukum min ma'in mahin, that did we not create you from a drop of fluid? And he used the term ma'in mahin. Now, mahin, loosely translated, means something that is disliked. We can call it in Arabic al-hakir, something that is filthy, something that we do not like to touch, something that we do not want to be on us. And so he said that this is the fluid that he has created us from, a drop of fluid that we do not even want to touch. And so that is why he reminds us where we come from. And we grow up into human beings, and we walk on this earth, and we trample on this earth, feeling that we are the mightiest, forgetting from where we come from. And so if we look around us and we look at the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we reflect on it, afala ta'qilun, then we will bring ourselves to shame, because when we feel that we are this big, this high, and we walk this earth this mighty, when we look around at the other creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it dwarfs us. The human being and everything that He's created with in this body that makes him feel so mighty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created mightier right in front of our eyes. The very eyes that we look with, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created animals with better sight than us. The very nose that we smell with, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created animals with a better sense of smell than us. The ears that we hear with, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created animals with better hearing than us. Even such thing as strength, they are animals that are many times stronger than us. Even in movement, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created animals that moves swifter than us. And anything that we feel this power with, the power even to our sexuality, a mere fowl cock can outdo any human being, the one who goes around thinking that he has to conquer the earth with his sexuality. So when we look around us, my brothers and sisters, and reflect, أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ, when we reflect upon this, we should humble ourselves, because we see around us that in the creation of Allah, there is greater than us. And there is no reason for us to feel so mighty about what we possess. Anything in this body that we have, Allah has created better than that. So that leaves us with what? It leaves us with the aql, the mind. This is the only thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has imbued the human being with. The ability to take in thoughts, the ability to sort it out, and the ability to act upon it. This He did not give to the animals. This He did not give to the angels. This He only gave to the human beings. And so the human beings, when he acts contrary to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala desires for him, Allah asks, أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ? Don't you use your intellect? Don't you internalize? Don't you look, see, reflect, and ponder? And so the human being, if he takes the time to do that, he will realize how small he is, how little he is, and he will connect back with that fluid that he is created from, al-ma'in mahin, that despicable fluid which no one wants to touch. Now the Muslim himself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not just create him and leave him to wander. He gave him wonderful gifts. He gave him the gift of Psalm. He gave him the gift of Salah. Now the gift of Salah is a unique gift for us, because for the Muslim, when he internalizes, when he reflects, and he realizes that this aql that he possesses, this is the aql that commands him, this is the aql that he has to subject to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then he goes and he prays, he bows down. This is when he takes the aql, which is the highest form within him, and puts it on the level that he's standing on, and bows it down, subjects it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, his creator. And he says to Allah, he acknowledges Allah, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la, you Allah is the highest, you Allah is the greatest. This is what he is doing, the Muslim is doing when he is praying. He bows down, he subjects himself, that aql, that mind, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he says to him, you Allah is the greatest. You are the creator, I am the created. I subject myself to you. I subject my very nafs, my very thoughts, my very actions, everything I subject to you according to your will. This is what the Muslim is doing when he is bowing down and praying. And when he internalizes that and he comes out of that prayer, he knows and he recognizes who is his creator, and so he acts with that responsibility from which he has to be a human being. That is, that he thinks before he speaks, he thinks before he acts, and he does not do these things wantonly, because he realizes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest, that he is subjected to the rules and the laws of Allah, so he would not speak, he would not act, he will do nothing unless it is done according to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So my Muslim brothers and sisters, I ask you today, أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ? Do we internalize? Do we subject whatever information we take in, and we process it, and we act upon what we see as the right way? My brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gifted us this guidance, and I ask that we go back to it, and we recite it, we learn it, and we act upon it, so that we may conform ourselves. And we don't forget the salah. We bow down ourselves and say, you, Rabbana subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the highest. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment to support our work.